So, now I usually stand up here and introduce the speaker for a long time, but I'm not going to do that because Javier is going to tell you his story. I think that for a craft artist, and your personal story is a big part of the work that you do. So he's going to talk a little bit about himself. I will say that he is a graduate of Parsons School of Design. He was an artist and graphic designer before he became a woodworker and discovered the arts and crafts movement, which I think it's good to say that was transformative in your life. So luckily for us, it was transformative when you did that. You know, I have been working here since February of 2008, and interestingly, I've known Javier most of that time, but we met in North Carolina at the Arts and Crafts Conference in Grove Park. And then I found out that he lived in New Jersey. And so we got to know each other there, and then I saw his work later, and I have to say I was really knocked out by his work. It's really beautiful. There's one of his tables in the shop today, and you'll see the reason why he hasn't been producing a lot. He would have brought a piece for you to see, but he's had an injury that he's recovering from. So I'm excited to be able to have him demonstrate for you today. He's one of those great woodworkers who works in the tradition, this great tradition of woodworking that is associated with Stickley, but he also innovates in ways that I think you'll admire, and I'm going to turn the program over to him. So thank you for coming, Javier.
Well, thank you for being here, and I'm a little nervous, so let me shake it out. Today we're going to be talking about joinery. Before we talk about joinery, I want to give you a little bit of my background and what got me to this point today. Since I was a little kid, I've been creating. Never thought about it as an art form. Just did it because it was fun, and that's all pretty much all I'm doing. Woodworking, I started doing woodworking on my own just to build a little table so I could build my little airplane models. I was a little kid. Never took it as an art form. I've been drawing, painting. Never took it as an art form. When I grew up, I thought that I would become an artist. But when I went to college, I decided to do engineering, not creative. So I dropped out. I dropped out of college because it wasn't creative enough for me. But still, I never thought that my direction was to be creative. I just thought that being creative was just what I was. Never thought that I would make money. I started working as a salesman in New York City, doing business. I still felt that I needed a degree. The first one in my family to get a degree. So I went into business. I was in the business world, so I will study business. I dropped out of school. Why? Because I wasn't learning enough in college. I was already working in the business world. And I realized it's so different when you learn in college and when you're doing it in the real world. So I dropped out. One day I felt like a loser. Oh God, I need a degree. So, what is it that makes me happy? And I realized that creating and becoming an artist, that's what I should do. I was thinking of joining FIT, but FIT, it was more fashion. I wanted to become a painter. A client of mine came into the store and said, well, if you want to become a painter, why don't you go to Parsons? Parsons, what's Parsons? I don't know Parsons. I know FIT. And I think FIT is expensive. So I went to Parsons. I applied for Parsons as an artist. The first thing they said, they asked, well, do you want to make money, feed a family, or die poor? And that's an art school. Figure that one out. So I became a graphic designer. I left my art ideas on the side, but then I said to myself, probably in the future, if I work as a graphic designer, I could try and combine things. The good thing about thinking as an artist was that I was able to create great compositions with my ads, and I was not challenged enough when I started working in the corporate world as an art director. So I quit that job. Yeah, I wasn't challenged enough. I'm working in the corporate world. So what did I decide to do? At that point, my wife and I bought a house in Montclair, and took classes making tiles. Visited the Craftsman Farms for the first time because we moved now to New Jersey. Visited the Craftsman Farms and realized the aesthetics, the beauty of hands-on, being a craftsman. My perspective of creating changed. So while I was hiring people to fix my house, I would always say I could do it better. No experience, but I always thought that I could do it better because of the creative mind that I had. So I left my job to become a tile maker. I was an art director making good money, but decided I should follow whatever makes me happy. And that's to create tiles down in my basement. While I was doing that, or trying to get it off the ground, I was doing my kitchen in my house. No experience, first time putting sheetrock, doing electrical and plumbing, but I always said I could do that. While I was doing the kitchen, I said, oh, this might be a good business for me to get into, building kitchens. So I put an ad out in the newspaper a few weeks later. I get a knock on the door from this woman who wants to see my kitchen that I'm working on. Please come in. She has plans of doing her kitchen. But she asked, are you insured? I'm like, no. So she said, if you get your insurance, I'll give you my kitchen. So you could do my kitchen. I got the insurance, give her a call. I have insurance, okay. I'm going to bring my contract, my woodworker's contract, or contractor, or handyman, because actually my title was a handyman. So I went there with my 2 papers. She was a lawyer. She came back to me with a 15-page contract. I got nervous. I was like, should I take this job or not? But I did like the challenge. I said, okay, this is the opportunity for me to learn and put something in my portfolio. Self-taught. I never did a kitchen of my own. And this was my second kitchen, and I was making $40,000 on that kitchen. That was my first project. After that kitchen, I got another kitchen. A friend told a friend that I could do a kitchen. Second kitchen that I did was a arts and crafts kitchen. That kitchen was issued in style 1900. And that was my second kitchen. That was a $100,000 kitchen. No experience. But I know I could do it. I started building their cabinets. I could do it. It was always the attitude, I could do it. After that, I became a perfectionist. So whoever I hired and did the job the wrong way, I just had to let them go, but it all fell on me. So I decided to not do construction until a restaurant decided to hire me to do their cabinets. I designed a wine/poker room. That was my first design. I built all cabinets, no experience. And it came out to be an incredible, beautiful job. That was my last kitchen or cabinet work that I did. Because then I decided to open what I have now. It's a store dedicated to the arts and crafts movement by the name Nest and Company, located in Montclair, New Jersey. After I decided not to do more kitchens, I decided I'm good enough to build furniture. That's what I thought, and I'm self-taught. So I started building furniture, buying woodwork. Now my path is to build furniture. But now, I'm a woodworker now. I'm a painter. I'm a designer. a graphic designer, furniture designer. I do metal, I do stained glass, I do ceramics, I do pretty much everything. Self-taught. Why am I self-taught? Because I don't want to learn bad habits from other people. And I want to learn from the beginning, okay, is basics. If I learn the basic, I could stretch it and become better at everything I do. So today, what I'm going to show you are just eight different types of joinery, the most basic joineries you could find. These are joineries that some of us did when we were little kids and we didn't realize that we were creating joints. Okay, it's just butting things together. We're creating a joint. So, joinery is a simple way of putting two pieces of wood together. It's just how you put them together. And what are you going to use them for? First joinery that I have here is a butt joint. The word says it, is butting them together. It's the weakest joint. It's not the best looking joint around. Okay? It's an easy joint to create. What you do, you don't need much measurements, just the length. You don't need much cutting. Just cut them straight. At the end grain, you glue it, butt them together, whether you clamp them or they dry, it's still a weak joint. So, to improve that joint, years ago, the traditional way of improving a joint like this was putting dowels through the end. Made it look better. Okay? Now, the non-traditional way of doing it is putting screws. A way of covering those screws, if you want to make it look better, would be by putting little pegs to cover it to make it look nice. But a joint like this is used for kitchen cabinets, built-ins, because you don't see the joints, the plugs or the screws. It's not the prettiest joint around, but it works. It's not the strongest, it's the weakest. Another way of improving a joint like this would be using biscuits. Biscuits is a non-traditional way. It's by using a biscuit joiner. Biscuit joiner is a carbide blade here that you don't need much measurements to do it. Take this apart. You create a groove here. See? Simple. Not much measurements. To create a biscuit joint, you just mark a point, and another piece of the point, you align it. You do a groove here, groove on the other side, and it all aligns. You can put glue inside the groove, or you can use and put on the biscuits, put them together. Believe it or not, this is a very strong joint. Sometimes it's stronger than the wood itself. It's not the prettiest, but it's prettier than showing screws coming out through the side. Another traditional joint, it's a simple joint, is the mitre joint. Mitre joint, difference between a mitre joint and a lap joint is that it's cut in a 45-degree to create a 90-degree angle. Pretty much all the joints created is to create a 90-degree angle. A way of improving a joint like this, non-traditional way, is putting a spline, creating a groove here, putting a spline here, gluing it, putting it together, and it makes it into a stronger joint, which is this right here. And it's nice, a nice little tiny detail. It looks cute. Sometimes, they make them out of ebony. Ebony is